In today's world, smartphones and personal devices are our constant companions, storing everything from our personal conversations to sensitive financial information. But what if we told you that your phone, iPad, or tablet could be weaponized against you without your knowledge? Imagine someone accessing your emails, messages, and even activating your camera, microphone, or remotely detonating your device to injure or kill you, all without leaving a trace. Sounds like something out of a spy movie, right? Well, this isn't fiction, it's real. And Israel is doing it in acts of mass, indiscriminate terror around the world. Think about that next time your phone is at your ear, in your hand, or in your pocket. Today we're talking about Pegusus, one of the most sophisticated pieces of cyber weaponry ever created, developed by the NSO Group, an Israeli cybersecurity company. Spyware surveillance and digital cyber weaponry is malicious malware framework designed to infiltrate devices like phones or computers and extract private data without the user's consent. But what makes Pegusus stand out is its sheer sophistication. It can be installed on a target's phone or device without them clicking on a malicious link or even realizing they're infected. This type of attack is called a zero-click exploit. The big three spyware malware culprits are called Pegusus, Predator, and Alien. Once installed, malware can access everything on your personal device: your text messages, emails, photos, browsing history, contacts, GPS location, and even encrypted messaging apps like WhatsApp or Signal. It can turn on your camera and microphone to eavesdrop on your conversations in real time. More insidiously, malware can blow up devices by hacking the device's battery management systems, or BMS. Most lithium batteries incorporate BMS that monitor temperature, voltage, and current. These systems help prevent conditions that could lead to overheating, overcharging, and excessive discharge rates that can cause fires or explosions, turning devices into improvised explosive devices, or IEDs. This includes mobile phones, pagers, iPads, tablets, electric cars, solar panel controllers, consumer appliance or office and industrial equipment. Remote detonation is via cell towers or Wi-Fi to cause fear, terror, and death at a cowardly distance. The NSO Group behind Pegusus was founded in 2010 by Niv Karmi, Omri Lavier, and Shalev Julio in Israel. From the beginning, the company marketed its Pegusus spyware as a tool for governments to fight terrorism and crime. According to NSO, they only sell the spyware to government agencies, specifically law enforcement and intelligence services, for the purpose of tracking down terrorists, drug cartels, and other high-value targets. The company claims to operate under strict export control laws, with sales approved by the Israeli Ministry of Defense. And boom, there it is. Israel is involved as it is with most spyware. So, are the bad guys masquerading as the good guys? If Israel is involved, we say yes, so listen up. Pegusus quickly became notorious for being used against individuals who have nothing to do with terrorism or criminal activities. Journalists, human rights activists, political dissidents, high-value targets, and even politicians have been targeted by the spyware. Pegusus can infect a phone in multiple ways using exploits, and one of the most frightening methods is the zero-click attack. Traditionally, spyware relied on users clicking a malicious link, but Pegusus can be remotely installed without the target being aware or taking any action at all. For example, it has been shown that Pegusus could exploit vulnerabilities in apps like WhatsApp or iMessage to send malicious data to a target device, allowing the spyware to be installed automatically. Once on the device, Pegusus gains root access, meaning it can bypass virtually all security protections. It doesn't just collect data stored on the phone, it also intercepts communications as they happen. This includes real-time access to messages, phone calls, and encrypted app data. Pegusus's widespread use has led to several high-profile controversies. One of the most notable instances was in 2019, when WhatsApp revealed that the spyware was used to target over 1,400 of its users. These weren't criminals or terrorists, but journalists, human rights defenders, and opposition politicians across the world. The Pegusus Project, a collaboration between media outlets and Amnesty International, revealed in 2021 that Pegusus had been used to target thousands of individuals across over 50 countries. The leaked list included activists, reporters, and even heads of state, such as French President Emmanuel Macron. As we now know, he has lots to hide. One of the most chilling accounts of the use of Pegasus is the case of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered in 2018. Investigations revealed that individuals close to him, including his fiancée Hatis Cengiz and his colleagues, had their phones infected with Pegasus spyware in the months leading up to his murder and dismemberment. Jamal Khashoggi was murdered inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, on October 2, 2018, by Saudi agents using the Israeli terror Pegusus cyber weapon. After his corpse was cut up into pieces, what remained of Khashoggi was spirited out of Turkey and flown back to Saudi Arabia by private jet as a blood-dripping warning to other journalists or critics of the Saudi royal family. Neither the Saudi royal family that rules over the oppressive Saudi Arabian authoritarian kingdom or their co-conspirator and enabler Israel were ever held accountable, just as happened in Lebanon, where pagers, mobile phones, and even solar controllers indiscriminately exploded, injuring and killing. Innocent children next to their parents were killed. It was an act of terrorism for which Israel was not held to account. The Khashoggi killing revelations caused an international uproar, leading to accusations that the NSO group was enabling authoritarian regimes to silence dissents and suppress the freedom of the press. Israel uses Pegasus to target Palestinians in Gaza in concert with Project Lavender. It bombs the target's homes, which are now tents, as most homes in Gaza have been reduced to rubble, killing everyone in the vicinity, including mothers and children. Peter Thiel, the business partner of Elon Musk and X, and J.D. Vance's biggest donor, runs a company called Palantir that feeds the Israelis data to its Lavender targeting AI of death to kill Palestinian women and children. The use of Pegasus has ignited a global debate about privacy, government surveillance, and cybersecurity. On one side, the NSO group defends its product, arguing that Pegasus is a vital tool in the fight against terrorism, organized crime, and child exploitation. The NSO group claims their software has helped law enforcement agencies worldwide to thwart terrorist plots and rescue victims of human trafficking. However, human rights organizations argue that the risks outweigh the benefits, and if Israel is involved, we know Pegasus is being used as an offensive weapon. The lack of transparency and accountability in how Pegasus is deployed has raised concerns about mass surveillance and the violation of basic civil liberties. In some cases, governments have reportedly used Pegasus to monitor political opponents and journalists rather than criminals or terrorists. One man's terrorist is often another man's freedom fighter against unconscionable aggression and tyranny. Multiple lawsuits have been filed against the NSO group, including one by Facebook, now Meta, accusing the company of exploiting a vulnerability in WhatsApp to install Pegasus on users' devices. In 2021, the U.S. government blacklisted the NSO group, limiting its ability to do business with American companies. Israel has been caught spying on the U.S. government and its agencies. The American-Israel dual national Jonathan Pollard is the most notorious example. He's now in Israel. All U.S. senators and representatives are at risk from Israel for blackmail and data theft, yet these very same congressional members inexplicably continue to send weapons and aid to Israel as if it's America's best friend. It is not. If our representatives are not bought with political donor money from the Israel Public Affairs Committee or AIPAC that buys, bribes, or blackmails congresspeople to hold them and the nation captive. Representative Thomas Massey has warned us about this in a discussion with Tucker Carlson, who naively feigned incredulity.
Idea of a foreign government playing in our political campaigns openly.
Openly in that they're showing you they're doing it, but opaquely in that you can't track it because they're not registered.
Is there any other Republican who has your views on this?
Well, I have Republicans who come to me on the floor and say, I wish I could vote with you today. Yours is the right vote, but I would just take too much flack back home. And I have Republicans who come to me and say, that's wrong what AIPAC is doing to you. Let me talk to my AIPAC person. By the way, everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
I don't know how it works on the Democrat side, but that's how it works on the Republican side.
So, how can you protect yourself from a powerful tool like Pegasus? The truth is, no system is 100% secure, but there are steps you can take to make it harder for spyware to infiltrate your device. At number 1, keep your software up to date. Most zero-click exploits take advantage of software vulnerabilities. Regularly updating your phone's operating system and apps reduces your risk of being targeted. 2. Use encrypted messaging apps. While Pegasus can intercept encrypted apps, tools like Signal and WhatsApp still offer an extra layer of protection, especially if you frequently update them. Until recently, Telegram has been the safest. 3. Limit third-party app installations. Only download apps from official stores like the Apple App Store or Google Play. Third-party app stores are more likely to host malware. 4. Be cautious of unusual behavior. If your phone is heating up excessively, the battery is draining faster than usual, or you notice unusual data usage, it could be a sign of malware infection. 5. Perform regular phone resets. Some reports suggest that Pegasus doesn't persist after a complete device reset. While this is not a foolproof method, it might help clear out some infections. Pegasus is a powerful reminder of the thin line between surveillance for security and the abuse of power. And now the bad news, as if it couldn't get any worse. Can you protect yourself? And if not, what does it mean? And what are the horrific consequences you've never considered, as your phones and computers aren't safe, cannot be safe, and never will be safe no matter what authorities try to do? And now more so than ever with the rise of AI that will write code which humans cannot readily understand. And if they come to do so, they can't keep up with the changes as AI avoids countermeasures, whether human or human-allied AI. We're sleepwalking into a nightmare the average person can't comprehend. People like Elon Musk has warned the civilization, and it's not listening, while Elon inexplicably also seeks to profit and benefit from the very demon he warns about and will learn about in a moment. This is very, very serious. We have focused on Pegasus because it's an easy-to-comprehend threat and relatable, as most people in the advanced world have a mobile device and some have computers. In the case of computers, most businesses and corporations have them. Pegasus spyware can be a challenge to detect for technicians and impossible for the average phone user. Nothing short of getting a new phone and not migrating anything from the old phone will fix the Pegasus problem for certain, and even then the new phone can succumb to Pegasus. The Pegasus spyware is designed to operate stealthily on both iOS and Android devices. All popular virus detectors can't identify and protect against Pegasus. However, in desperation, some people have deployed a mobile verification toolkit. This open source tool allows users to check for signs of Pegasus infection on their devices, but it can't remove the spyware. The MVT is very difficult to use for the average person, and outcomes are uncertain. It requires qualified cybersecurity experts or managed security service providers to deploy the MVT. The Russian Kaspersky virus detector can perform a shutdown log analysis and deduce if anomalies linked to Pegasus infections might be present. It's neither a certain method and nor is it a fix. In any event, it can only be used on Apple iOS devices, and even then it's not a fix. While these methods can aid, they cannot guarantee detection and cannot fix the Pegasus problem. The sophisticated and insidious nature of Pegasus means that complete assurance of phone devices infected is difficult, if not impossible, to determine, even for most technicians. And yet this is not the most harrowing part of Pegasus, as you don't know for certain you're a Pegasus victim, and you can't remedy what you can't identify or ever detect. This leads to anxiety and mistrust of mobile and computer technology that's becoming indispensable for digital transactions as the acceptance of cash disappears. The use of cash must not be allowed to disappear by our governments, and there should be no limit on cash transactions. If there is one reason to reject the phase out of cash, it's Pegasus and its ilk that might arise. Pegasus can undermine commerce and the financial system by destroying digital confidence for use with merchants, consumers, banks, and financial service providers. With a collapse of digital confidence will come disruption of the means of exchange, disrupt supply chains and the distribution of food, medical supplies, and energy, to name a few essentials to sustain modern life. People will die just as if there was a nuclear war on the planet. This is what cyber war will do, and why cybersecurity is critical. It's not us alone who says this. The Pentagon treats it as a major, clear, and present danger. Listen to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on cyber warfare, or more appropriately, Israel's approach to now waging cyber war, which we saw in Lebanon turning everyday devices into weapons of terror, injuring and killing indiscriminately to install fear and terrorize a population.
The Internet of Things is going to create so many connections. It's a new kind of warfare. Very different from what we've seen before. It's not futuristic and it's not exaggerated. It's moving very rapidly to a situation where, with the click of a button, you can bring down nations to their knees very rapidly, if you so desire, and if you're willing to take the risks. Because every system can be hacked. Our airplanes, our hospitals, our cars, our banks. Actually, the most important word here is our data banks. They can be hacked. And the possibilities of sabotage and worse are all there. So this new type of warfare gets more complicated by the day using these tools of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence. The same tools they use can be used against them and are being used against them with great effectiveness. I won't go into that. The Internet of Things can be hijacked by nefarious actors for dangerous purposes with dangerous results. Again, what you see today is going to get a lot worse in the future.
Israel's Pegusus is just one tool on the road to the fall of the civilization as we know it today, and why it must be taken seriously. Pegusus and its ilk are existential cyber threats to the economic order and our way of life, thanks to Israel proliferating cyber weapons as it did in 2010 with the Stuxnet virus. It destroyed numerous centrifuges in Iran's Natanz uranium enrichment facility. These are tools of war for the havoc they wreak. Cyber threats and cyber war is real. You can't run or hide now we've sleepwalked into a digital existence. Absolutely everything digital is vulnerable, and it never should be accepted for identity or interaction with institutions and government. Security and privacy is impossible. Pegusus is a national security threat. For the economy, a parallel system for cash transactions must be maintained, and merchants must be legally obliged to always accept cash. The most at-risk nation in the world to cybersecurity is China. It has rushed headlong into digital transactions and personal identity and biometrics as part of its security surveillance state for full-spectrum dominance or full-spectrum superiority to control all aspects of the war on its population, who otherwise might one day seek liberty and freedom from the oppressive Chinese Communist Party. China hasn't realized it's made itself vulnerable to cyber war that could existentially destroy the state on the road to destroying its population's privacy, freedoms, free speech, and freedom of thought and association. In the process of securing total state control, it's sown the seeds of its own destruction. This goes for every nation that's doing what China has done, building a cyber gulag for its people. The right to be digitally free is a must, and never more so now with the rise of AI, which is far beyond Pegusus. As technology advances, so too do the methods of intrusion and control. While the NSO group claims Pegusus is used for good, its misuse shows how unchecked surveillance can have devastating consequences for freedom, privacy, and democracy. And if Israel is involved, rest assured there is no good going on. It threatens the world as digitization proliferates, as AI is allowed to permeate our lives and destroy the civilization that safely got this far without it. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and always remember, in a digital age, the fight for your privacy is more important than ever. Freedom of speech is the most potent tool you have to protect yourself, for as a collective that can influence each other by free communication, it makes it impossible for tyranny to hold power. Free speech is your guarantee of freedom. Pegusus was designed to know what you're saying and thinking. Evil people from an evil nation conceived and deployed it. Even if we find a way to detect and sterilize Pegusus, the evildoers will devise a substitute or replacement. We're in a cyber war for the civilization, and most most people don't even realize it's happening. Subscribe wherever you're watching this video so you don't miss other videos we produce for your information to keep you informed and intelligent. Be careful out there, as the bad guys appear to be the good guys and your friend, when in fact they're very bad. Very, very bad indeed.